Hey everyone, it's your boy Pee Wee back with another video. So today is going to be kind of like a throwback video to what I used to do on this channel. I have two videos I plan to do like this. The first one being with the Absolute Scholar, which is the one we're going to be doing today. And then the next one I plan to do would be this one. I don't know in which order I'm going to post them, but I plan to do, read the first chapter of both because this one only has one chapter, but and then give my first impressions on it. The basically read, skim through and review. I used to read them, but it's more or less going to be like a skim through, and then my opinions on it. But without further ado, let's get into it. Actually, I guess I'll give a summary first and whatnot. But essentially, this is let's just read the synopsis. Cheon Taesun is a scholar with a unique specialty, rehabilitating the trash of the martial arts world. He rose to fame by successfully reforming the most notorious, hopeless scoundrels in the Mirim. Behind his reputation lies a tragic fate. He was born with a heavenly martial body, a physique that is both a blessing and a curse. He's living on borrowed time, so it's kind of like those genius who survives off of borrowed time or any like terminally ill thing. Where in order to survive, he has to either gather certain energy or do certain things or whatnot. Um, but when his path crosses with the mysterious figure, he finds himself drawn closer to the hidden truths of Mirim. So, just from reading that alone, it kind of seems like it's going to be like the terminally ill ones. But let's just skim through here. Let's look at the art. Let's maybe read a couple parts in between. Like I said, I'm not going to read the entire thing like I used to do. It's basically just going to be just scrolling through it and seeing what it looks like. Maybe read a couple things here and there. But essentially, that's just what I'm gonna do, and then I'll give my opinion on whether I think I'm gonna read it in the future or not, and whether I think you guys should. But so far, the art, it doesn't look too bad. It looks, I don't want to say undefined, but it looks a slightly bit blurry in my opinion. But overall, it's looking pretty good so far. Rokuri Comics tends to have pretty decent translations from what I've seen on the few that I've read on this website. But like just like you could tell just by like these little water droplets that like the artist is actually putting in a good amount of effort. Um, that's something that you really like to see. Um, Pokemon Realize Disney Zin and Z does the Zinspection Bureau Zinspection, the new one. Um, okay. So just getting, the usual hate. Passed the civil service at 19. He was smarter than others. He realized he was born with a heavenly martial body to interpret it as like a terminal ill disease. Okay. Okay. See, this eye thing, a little sidetrack thing, but you see a lot of this in a lot of comics, and like I understand the concept of it, and like that it's supposed to look cool and whatnot. But to me nowadays, like it used to be cool when it was first a thing, but it feels like overused to me, in my opinion. But the typical fashion of Korean comics where the Namgun clan is literally the strongest clan, right? Or he has a sword saint. You know, typical manhwa fashion. Please turn my youngest son into a human being. Okay, so interesting. So the art looks pretty decent. I will say the chapter's decently long. But then again, that's probably just because I've been reading a lot of Chinese comics recently, to where I'm used to like short chapters. Okay, so the females look good too. No one has ever dared to speak to me, the typical arrogant young master. You don't run away with the end of the day. I'll acknowledge you as my master very well. However, since words are easily forgotten, should we leave some evidence, a contract, legitimacy this out written down 10 countries. You don't know the world, so you don't realize what this means. It's getting interesting. That's live as my slave. Look at him getting all excited. I assume he's gonna get, put in his place pretty quickly, but typically how these kind of go. Walking a crazy dog with rabies is pretty good. Uh, I'm sorry if this portion's a little boring. As I said, I'm just skimming through it, so I'm reading it here and there. Um, there isn't really much to talk about at the moment. I will say the translation's pretty good. With Rokuri, you tend to get really good translations. The art's pretty good. So far, it seems like it's going to be leading in a pretty, cool way, where it's like the MC is, though he's dying, he's really strong, he's really smart, and he doesn't really care, you know, which is something that I, personally like in my main characters. So, no, not the guy who's eating. Damn, damn the noodles, bruh. And I want to put him in his place right there just for that. But yeah, so the first chapter there, I would say the art's good. I feel like the story has, a good premise. Hopefully it doesn't get, repetitive or boring or whatnot. I'm personally gonna keep an eye on it. I would say, I think it has potential to be really good. So I would recommend it to you guys as well. If you, obviously if you like Mirim stories, I know a lot of people who read Korean comics that don't like Mirim stories. So if you like Mirim stories, give it a shot. But that'll be it for this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.